Hello Church. It's wonderful to be able to be together, even if it's virtually. We're hoping that this will be the start of a series of blogs that we'll be providing from across the church. And also, this is a great opportunity to say to you, as a church, if there's things that you're really feeling that God's saying to you, it's already been great to receive a number of emails from people about hearing what God's doing in your community through you, encouragements that you've been able to bring to others. We'd really encourage you to put those forward to us, or maybe you'd like to write a blog, maybe you'd like to even do a video blog like this one, that we can put up on the church website on a frequent basis, just to encourage us, somewhere that we know we can go to feed on God and to feed on His Word and to be encouraged and to encourage and lift one another up. So this will be the first in a new series of blogs. I'm hoping to do a couple of these each week. Phil will probably be doing some as well, as will some of the other members of the team. But as well, hopefully, as we go forward on this journey of being church virtually for a while, hopefully you as well feel that you can contribute towards these. As I was just preparing for this first one, I spent some time in prayer and really felt God lead me to Matthew 5 and 6. Where in Matthew 5 it talks about Jesus talking about what it means to be his disciples, as following on from the Beatitudes about salt and light. And I just want to read this to you. He says, "You are the salt of the earth, but if the salt loses its saltiness, how can it be made salty again? It is no longer good for anything except to be thrown out and trampled underfoot. You are the light of the world. A town built on a hill cannot be hidden. Neither do people light a lamp and put it under a bowl. Instead, they put it on its stand, and it gives light to everyone in the house. In the same way, let your light shine before others, that they may see your good deeds and glorify the Father in heaven." Our role really as the children of God, as the people of God, is to be both those two qualities, both salt and light. In the current climate and the world around us, we can see behaviour which is quite dark. We can see something of a darkness sweeping over, whether it's depression, whether it's anxiety, whether it's fear, or whether it's just in people's behaviour as we look and turn on the news or we go down to the local supermarket. We have a real opportunity as church in this season to be something of a light to this world. But we know that actually in us being these little lights, that we're really pointing to the one who is the true light. That's what it means in these words here, that let your light shine before others, that they may see your good deeds and glorify the Father in heaven. We have a real opportunity in these days, church, to be a light that will glorify the Father through the way in which we choose to respond and behave and choose to act. And it's been great to hear stories already of you, church, going out into the local community and putting little slips through the door just saying, hey, here's a WhatsApp group, how can we encourage one another? And in the next couple of days as a church, we'll be looking to do a full flyer drop across this community to assess the needs. And there's a great opportunity for us to respond to those needs in our local community, both within our church, but also within the wider community. And let's be that salt and the light at this time, that people might taste and see through the way in which we behave, the way in which we choose as church to respond in this climate, the way that we choose to perhaps even enjoy and celebrate and give thanks to God that He is still good and He is still faithful, and that assurance that we hold on, that certain hope that we hold on that He is faithful, that can be a light that people taste and see that He is good in these days. But as I said, as I was preparing, I felt it was both Matthew 5 and Matthew 6. After Jesus talks about how He came to fulfill the law, He goes into three key areas in his teaching. One about giving to the needy, and I think this is really, really important as we turn to Matthew 6, verse 1, about the importance role that we know that God has blessed us with an abundance, that He has given us all that we need in and through Jesus Christ, that we do not need to fear and we do not need to worry, which is what He actually tells us later on in Matthew 6. And that we can lean into Him with assurance, and that means that we can freely give to other people. But He also tells us that we should pray, and He teaches us how to pray. And there's three things I want you to focus on in this prayer. One, He says, give us today our daily bread, that He is abundant. He will give us what we need. It's not necessarily always what we want, but he will give us what we need in these days. But secondly, he also says, just before that, he says, your kingdom come and your will be done. That is our desire, that we want to see God's kingdom come in this time, in our communities, through the way in which perhaps we extend his kingdom, but more importantly, that people see him and see him at work during this time, and his will be done. That God's got a plan in every single time in history. God is advancing his kingdom, and he's doing a great work. And so let's hold on to that, and let's pray that God's will be done, and to reveal something of that to us each day. He also talks about fasting, and some of us might be finding that easier than others with the shortage of food in our supermarkets. But let's really consider, is there something that God's calling us to fast and pray for? It might be for specific things that are going on in the life of the church, and hopefully as the days progress, we'll be able to provide specific things for us to be able to pray into. But also this Sunday is a global day of prayer where people across the whole world will be praying as a community together, as a community of church together. And it might be that on Sunday we just want to stop and fast and pray and join in with that global petitioning before God for him to move in power in these days. And then as we head into verses 25 onwards, it talks about do not worry. It's really, really easy to fall in with fear and worry, with the uncertainty of what's going to happen in the coming days. I'm aware that many of you young people with GCSEs and A-levels and not knowing what's going to happen in the future there. Myself, even with Morelands, not sure what's going to happen at the moment. But we have a God who is faithful. We know in Jeremiah it talks about that he has a plan for us, to prosper us, not to harm us, to give us hope in a future. And we know there's a great day where he's going to come back and every tear is going to be wiped away. All pain, all sickness will be rid from this earth, and we get to stand with him in glory. This future hope that we hold on to. And so I encourage you in these days that in order to be salt and light, we need to do these fundamental things. We need to pray, we need to fast, and we need to give to the needy, and we need to trust that God has got us, that he is for us. And the more that we do those things of pressing into prayer and fasting and giving freely, I believe the greater our assurance will be in him. As we draw close to him, we get to know him better, and that outworks in the way in which we live and affects the way in which we think and the way in which we operate. So let's, in this season where we perhaps got a little bit more time to carve aside, to be those who just draw alongside our Father, to pray his kingdom come and his will be done in these days, and to be those who extend his goodness into the world by giving to others, by being that salt and that light and giving glory to the Father. I really, really pray for you this week that you would know the peace of the Lord Jesus upon you, and that you would be able to extend with grace and with abundance, knowing that he has got us. He has got us firm in these days. So bless you as you head into this weekend, and we look forward to seeing you Sunday for virtual church. Bear with us whilst we tie up some things, and if you've got any ideas yourself, we would love to hear about those. But for the meantime, God bless, guys, and have a wonderful, peaceful evening.